Guys, hello and welcome to the THQ podcast. In this series, what we're going to be talking about is maybe genetics are to blame. Maybe it's not your fault that you've gained a lot of body fat, and maybe it's not your fault that you've actually become fat. Maybe it's not your fault that you're struggling to lose the body fat. So, do genetics play a role? Yes, they do. A big role, and I'm going to get into that. But first, I want to give you a little bit about my story. I've talked about this many times. Now, I've got not really a condition, but it's something called FH, which is basically I've got a missing gene and my body makes a lot of cholesterol. Now, I've been taking statins, which probably gets prescribed to people late 50s, 60s, 70s. I've been taking them since I was 11 years old. Now, when I was 11 years old, I played a little bit of football, but I didn't really exercise. I ate rubbish. As most kids do, and my cholesterol was sky high, so they put me on statins. Now, as I've got older, I've always known in the back of my mind, through a deep family history of heart disease, that fitness was always going to have to be a priority to me. Whether I become a personal trainer or not, I knew one day that I was going to have to make being fit a priority. Now, fattier food choices for the majority of people are fine. But for me, if I make fattier food choices too regular, my cholesterol will go sky high. And as I'm getting older, that is something that I really need to keep down. Now, another point is my diet could be really clean, but I would still have to take statins. But I can take a very low dose of statins. I can keep my cholesterol under control by following a decent diet, following a decent exercise regime. And I really haven't got any room to not exercise, okay? If I do value my health like I do and for my family, I've got to exercise and I've got to always eat well. That it's got to be a priority. It always has done. So is it unfair that I can't eat fattier foods and get away with it? Like, even if I stayed lean and I was smashing loads of fat, I think it would still affect my cholesterol level. So yeah, it's a bit, is it unfair that I have to take a pill every day? Is it unfair that I can't really overindulge for long, like say 3 weeks without my cholesterol being sky high? No, I don't think it is. And I can never take 2 weeks off training, really, if I value my health. Now, all these things are genetic problems that, yes, okay, it is a bad thing, but it's something that's going to keep me motivated. If I look at it in a different way, it's going to keep me pushing and keep me going forward. So for years, I have extremely dieted, and I've said that, and my cholesterol levels have gone right down, right? And could I maintain that? No, I can't maintain it. I still like to have a little bit of a drink. I still like to have a little bit more relaxed approach to food, so I still have to take a statin. It's something that I can actually do, but I feel like I'm in a good position now with my cholesterol levels, with my health, with my fitness, with my mindset, with my body shape. But I've always got that in the back of my mind that I have to do it. So if we look at it a different way, then we can really get control of what our genetics are. So let's talk about genetics. Now, do genetics slow progress down? 100% they do. Now, some people are genetically more hungrier. Some people just get more hungrier. Some people don't get, now this is a big one, some people don't get that endorphin release from exercise like what we do, right? Imagine someone saying, exercise, it'll make you feel great, you'll do it, but then you're training like you just don't get that feeling. Like you've rushed around like a mad hooligan, get to the gym, and you just don't really feel like that good afterwards. Like, but you should be doing it for your health. Like, some people don't. That's just one of them things. Some people genetically have slow metabolisms. Like, some people naturally have bad habits. They just move less. Like, they're genetically just not really that fidgety, not really that movement. Again, we know that now NEAT is such a big factor when it comes to fat loss. So, like, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, how much we move is a big factor of losing body fat. Some people naturally have lean genetic habits, like they'll have half a burger, half a chips and be able to leave it. Some people cannot leave that. Like, it is genetic. It's our genetic makeup. It's what we are. Some people could have half a Mars bar and not have it. Some people are naturally lean, but they're not naturally lean. They just move more and eat less. Naturally, they're genetics. And females, like, I've done a whole podcast and video on this, and it's a hell of a lot harder. But your genetics are your genetics. We all know we should be exercising more, and we all know that exercise is better for our health, and we should be doing it. And how we actually look, even sometimes exercise doesn't give us them endorphins. If we look in the mirror and we feel good, we are going to mentally feel good as well. So we're always going to have barriers. You're always going to have barriers. But if you are in a calorie deficit consistently, no matter who you are, you have the ability to get lean. Is it going to be harder for some people? Yes, 100%. But the only person that can change that is you. The only person that can overcome that is you. So you can look at your genetics as something that pisses you off. You feel like it's unfair. You're doing exactly the same thing as your partner or your friend or anything. They're progressing and you're not. You can even get pissed off with that. And you can even think that, what's the point? And then just give up. Or you can use that as a barrier. Yes, okay, it's going to make it harder, but it's going to be more rewarding when I get there. It's like studying for an exam. For me, passing my personal trainer years ago, I left school with three E's, three E's, three Fs, like no GCSEs whatsoever. I got a C in PE. I had to pass my personal training, I had to do my maths again, I had to work, the leisure centre I was working at, there was people that was naturally had all these GCSEs, and they passed their personal training a lot quicker, but I had to go back and redo all these exams, and I had to work a hell of a lot harder to do a written exam. I had to do, that really doesn't come naturally to me. So I had to work extra harder, but the reward I actually got for it at the end was a lot more. I felt it was a lot more than people that just sort of sail through it. Maybe that's why now I've been more successful in personal training and be in the position, luckily enough to be in the position we are at THQ, because I've had to work so hard to get there. So maybe if you use your genetics as more of a motivation and you have to work harder when you get there, because you've worked so goddamn hard, you're going to be easier for you to maintain it rather than somebody that doesn't have to work that hard. Because somebody who doesn't have to work that hard will be more likely to yo-yo because they know they can get it back in a couple of weeks, where if you can't and you've had to graft and work your arse into the ground to achieve this body shape, you'll be more than likely to be able to continue to do it, continue to maintain it. So, is moving forward, the only person is you. You can take responsibility and you can still move forward. Now, genetics will have a factor, but you will have the final say. It's up to you. Guys, please reach out to me. Let me help you. Contact me on Facebook. Carl Lambert on Facebook, drop me an email, carl@transformationhq.co.uk, or click the link in this email. I will be happy to answer any questions. I'll be happy to talk about anything on a podcast. And if you're a non-member, get in contact. And if you want any information on our 6-week meltdown program, then I'll be happy to give you information on that. Guys, I will see you in the next episode.